Hey, everybody, and thanks for joining us for Making Sales Social Live, coming to you from the Social Sales Link virtual studios. We're slightly early today because I did a dumb thing and clicked the wrong button. So we're just like 2 minutes early, but hopefully that won't throw people off. I am Bob Woods, the Goof Master for this edition of Making Sales Social Live. Bryn Tillman and Stan Robinson Jr. are here as well. How you guys doing?
Hey, great. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Stan, how you doing?
Doing excellent. Thanks, Bob.
Good, good, good. Well, because we clicked a little early, we're going to be doing a bunch of, hey, who wants to take this topic? Who wants to take this topic? Because that's just the way it is. So
We'll
we're
just
going to
raise
go
our
ahead,
hand.
though.
You bring it up, and Stan and I raise
Exactly.
our hands.
Exactly. So let's get to our topic today, which is one of the most important shifts in modern selling, moving from seller focused messaging to buyer relevant conversations. And that is a big shift. Quite frankly, that's the way it should have been all along, but it is what it is. And now we're making that shift. So to ride the wave of that shift, our content has to focus on what the prospect actually cares about consuming rather than what we want our prospects to understand. Now, you might be thinking, that's kind of the same thing, isn't it? It's really not the same thing. So, we are going to be talking about slowing down outreach, personalizing engagement, and creating conversations that prospects want to participate in, not the stuff that we want to tell them about, which is what we ultimately want, right, guys?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we do have an acronym for this. We're not going to be talking about a lot, but since you saw it in the promo copy, we need to spell that out a little bit. It's called SWIFT. So it goes from WIIFM, what's in it for me, to SWIFT, which is sales, what's in it for them, which I think is a really good way to change your mindset about it, because it really is about them, and it needs to come from that really kind of mind shift. That when you have that mind shift, everything that we're going to be talking about falls into place more naturally than trying to jam it into the thought process of what do I want them to know, which I
Mhm.
think is pretty radically important, especially nowadays. So, who wants to take the first one? The problem with seller centered, or actually that kind of is self centered, sales topics.
Yeah, I'll start, and then I'll hand it over to Stan. But we see this all the time. Sellers are out there putting out content they want their prospects and clients to see and read and consume, instead of content that their prospects and buyers and influencers want to consume. We need to shift it from what I want them to know to what they want to consume. That leads to our solution. So I do want to throw in, there is a new caveat in town, which is called 360 Brew. And that
Mhm.
is the algorithm for your content as well. So while we're saying don't share content all about you and your company, you still have to share content that leads back to you and your company. It needs to be around topics that engage the right buyers around the right conversations, but are about value for them. So instead of saying we help people do this, actually help people do this, right? So the mistake is, I want to promote my stuff. I want to tell them all about how great we are. Even case studies tend
Mhm.
to fall as a pitch.
Mhm.
And so the problem with why do we pick words that are hard to
Yeah.
say? That's all I
That's
want
a
to
good
talk
question. Yeah,
about.
we'll get there.
We picked this topic.
Yes,
Um,
we did.
so seller-centered content is about what I, as a seller, want you as the buyer to know. And we're going to flip that. And that's where we came up. So SWIFT, which is sales, what's in it for them. And then we had some fun and called it tailored SWIFT.
Wah, wah.
So it's tailored to what they want to consume. Stan, do you want to play on that a little bit?
I'll leave the tailored part alone, but as far as the sales part, when we're in sales, we spend so much time learning about our product or service and getting excited about it. And so our tendency is to start with that because our mindset is, well, of course, this is going to help you. But that's not your buyer's mindset. Your buyer's mindset is what's in it for me. So rather than starting with something that we think will help them and trying to bridge to what's in it for me, we need to flip that, as Bryn was saying, start with the what's in it for them. And eventually it will lead back to your solution if you're talking to the right people.
Masterful.
Exactly. So before we going on, I just want to bring up something really quick. So when it comes, a lot of this stuff you can learn from the material that's coming to you and just how awful it likely is because they are talking about them. They're not talking about you. So just think about the last cold message or cold messages that you've received. Did it feel truly tailored to you? Or did it feel generic? Did it have their goals in mind and not your goals in mind? Did it understand your problems, or was it just pushing a SaaS solution or AI solution or whatever? Essentially, that's a really good way, I think, to get that mind shift, as Stan mentioned, started. Is just really look at the stuff that's coming into you. And yes, you're going to have to start looking at some of the stuff coming into you. You can't delete it like I do a vast majority of the time. And, really make sure that it is, read it and just say, is this addressing what I, as a buyer, want to hear? If it doesn't, chances are it doesn't. You really need to bring that mind shift into what you're doing now, using the tailored Swift method to get your message out there.
So brilliant. Yes. And look for phrases like, we help companies like yours. We help people like you. That's all seller focused. Even though it doesn't sound like it, it sounds like, no, we're helping you. No, you're telling me how you're going to help me. Actually help me, and you're helping me. Bring value. So love that.
Exactly. Exactly. So now let's get to number 2, and I'll take the top one of this with the core idea behind what all of Swift is about. It's about aligning every interaction with what matters to the prospect. We've been hitting this pretty heavy, but there's a reason for it, and that's because buyers want to know that you are thinking of them and you're not thinking of yourself. So that means personalizing content so that it reflects their world and not the world that we live in, because guess what? They ain't the same world. So, you really have to keep that in mind. You need to understand their role, their priorities, and their current challenges before you even reach out to them. So that takes research, that takes talking with current clients, that, you learn stuff in every conversation you have with a prospect. So if a prospect brings up something new that you hadn't thought about, include that in the future about what their concerns are, about what their problems are. And then also think about how your LinkedIn activity, engagement, and content can signal what matters to them, because they want to feel seen and understood, not just targeted.
Yeah. Oh, well said.
I love that. I'll take the next one real quick, and I'm going to throw in our AWARE, which this is our framework for content that converts. Right? So AWARE stands for attract. And this is really about resonating with your buyer. When they see this content, this is for me. And then wonder, this is where we create enough curiosity. They go, oh, I wonder what's next. Right? Then add value. Adding value. These are the insights that are vendor agnostic, meaning that they can take what they learned and apply that, even if they never talk to you. That's value. And then reframe. We want to get them to reframe the way they are thinking about their current situation and then create engagement. So engage, right? So whether it's a comment or a response to a message, or they ask you to connect on LinkedIn or accept your connection request, that we're moving them from spectator to engager, right? So aware is a really great way to make sure that we're hitting that tailored Swift.
Yeah. Glad you added that Taylor there, because Lord knows her attorneys might actually come after us for just saying Taylor
I don't
Swift.
know. I think she's pretty awesome. I don't think she's gonna get us for that.
She's that way, unlike some others.
So,
right. So Stan, anything you want to bring to that before we move on?
Just one thing that occurs to me is most of us are using AI recording tools, and one other source of business intelligence you can just use is reviewing, or if you have sales enablement, have them review the transcripts from your calls with buyers to look for trends. Use AI to help you identify some of the things that may be important to your buyers that you were not aware of. So we may think we know them very deeply, but take advantage of the transcripts in AI to pull insights that we may not have thought of.
That is brilliant. That's really what they're asking. It's really what they know. 10 out of 10 on that one, Stan.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think personally that Stan should keep rolling with the next one if you've got that one, Stan.
Detached from what the prospect is worth to you. Am I in the right place?
No,
that's
you're
do it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess just because I like that one.
We all do.
The tendency is for us to be concerned about closing the deal. That's what produces the commissions, makes President's Club, et cetera, et cetera. But it produces a mindset that comes across. Desperation may be a little bit strong, but your prospect can sense when you're more concerned about the sale than you are about helping them. So one thing we say is detach from what the prospect is worth to you and attach to what you're worth to the prospect, because the only reason you're talking to them is because of value that you can bring to them. So think in terms of the value that you bring, how it helps them, and that will help take your mind off yourself and relieve some of the pressure you may feel.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the easiest way to do that is to stop talking about how you help them and just help them. That's the best way to bring that value to them, is to actually be of value to them. And it's the easiest thing to do. It's not a sales process. You're not going back, oh God, what step am I in the sales process or whatever. Just freaking help them. It's that simple. Yeah, do it.
And now Nike will come after us. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly. Yeah, we're just IP violating everything at this point in time, which is good. So let's get to the next one. Brenda, if you want to take this one, content that matters to them.
Well, I think that's where the aware comes in. Right. And I think we kind of covered that. Like, make sure that we are hitting the value and what Stan said. So I think we can actually move in almost to the ask offer ratio in a second, because I think ultimately what we've covered is Stan's brilliant idea. Look at your Q&A with your clients and your prospects and the folks that's what they care about. Create your content around their real questions. We also recommend Answer the Public. That'll help you to identify questions people are asking. Go Google what you think they're asking and scroll down and see what they're actually asking. I mean, there's so many ways for us to identify what matters to them. We just have to start creating content and messaging around that. So I think that's awesome. And I think we can actually jump into the ask offer ratio.
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking too. Yep.
So should I jump into that, or do you want to open that up?
Do you want to open that up, Stan?
Well, ask offer ratio, make sure that you're offering more than you ask and that you offer before you ask. So we always talk about earning the right to have a conversation. And you do that by bringing value first before you ask for time for a meeting, or for even for them to take the time to read something. Bring them some value first.
I love that. That's earning the right to get the conversation. And that's so initially the ask offer ratio came from gap selling from Keenan, and we kind of adapted it to social selling and the things that we do. But the bottom line is the one resource they can never get back is time. So when we ask them to read something, when we ask them to consume something, at the end of the consumption of that content, they're making one of three decisions. That was a bait and switch. And I am pretty sure anyone listening here has been baited and switched, right? You think that it's a connection request to someone that wants to network, and they come swooping in and pitching you, right? So that's the worst. The next one is neutral. Neutral is, okay, well, that content didn't move me, but it didn't hurt your reputation. And that's where a lot of content tends to move. Once you have the realization that I'm not pitching, and now I go into content, it becomes content that's not compelling in any way. And that's, although it doesn't hurt you, it tends to have you on a hamster wheel. And that's when people say, I post, but nobody engages, nobody cares, right? Because it's neutral. Where we want to be is that compelling, right? And that compelling is going to come from exactly what Stan said, right? What are the questions they're actually asking you, and you answering those? That's compelling because it's meaningful to them. So to me, that's the value of the ask offer ratio, that you're falling in number 3. I just invested 3 minutes to read your content, and I want more. It's worth a comment. It's worth a like. It's worth a connection request. You've earned the right for that next step. And that's when we master that ask offer ratio.
Yep. 100%. 100%. So with that, we're going to talk more about earning the right.
I think Stan has one more thing to add.
I forgot
to mention
the ask offer ratio. We suggest 10 to 1. So provide value 10 times as often as you ask.
Love that.
Sorry, I forgot to lead with that.
That's the mic drop. It should have been at the end. That's good.
No, that's great. That's great. So, and that really flows into number 6, earning the right to a conversation, because as we've been saying, trust is built through consistent value, you providing consistent value to everyone that you're dealing with. So engagement, comments, helpful insight, they earn attraction, sometimes immediately, more often than not over time. But every once in a while, you may say something while you're helping someone else out that they're going, oh my God, that's exactly me. And that's what you want. You want, when you're helping other people, you want the other people who are reading or otherwise engaging going, oh yeah, that's really me. I should reach out to this person and talk more to them about that. That's how you earn the right to a conversation. That's how you earn access, as opposed to forcing access, which is, and forcing access, when you force stuff, more often than not, it doesn't work. So
it's the pitch. Forcing access is asking for the conversation too soon. Forcing access is getting so excited they accepted your connection request that you think they're a lead. Like that, the earning access. And this actually came up in a training probably 2 weeks ago when I was training a company where they all felt like their cadence was forced access, right? They felt like their cadence that they were given, and they were using a cadence software. Like, here's the next message and the next message. And when we were looking through it, it was asking before they earned the right. And they all felt like it was forced access. And they were being measured on KPIs around how many of these conversations converted. And it was so low. And it was so interesting that when we started talking about adding that value and earning the right, while it was a few more steps, they could see like the light bulb went off and go, oh, this is earning access, not forcing it. And so, yeah, I agree, Bob, 100%. Like, that is absolutely critical.
And I think that in a lot of people, you can tell when they are being people, meaning salespeople in this case, when they are being forced into forcing access as well, because it's like you just said, it's uncomfortable when you're out there genuinely helping people, having conversations, meeting the ask offer ratio. It's for most people, it's a much more natural type of thing to do because most people really are genuinely want to help other people. That's why a lot of us are in sales. I mean, let's let's face it, we're mostly people. I kind of like that. And yeah, so
People.
by doing all of that, we can it also things just happen much more naturally. They flow naturally. They don't feel forced, and you get out of that double force situation.
And that's something, I mean, obviously we are anti-automation for so many reasons, but we
Mhm.
see often when there's this automated connection request and there's this engineered empathy where it feels tailored because it's scraped content.
Right.
And sometimes I've been fooled a few times where I actually thought they read my profile, but then you respond and then it's off. They're off, right? So a lot of what we're talking about in the tailored Swift, what's in it for them, sales, what's in it for them, is the tailoring is so important. And that's why we always say slow down the outreach. It will speed up your outcome.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get to number 7, which people are going to scratch their heads at a little bit when they first hear it. But if you consider that with everything else we've been talking about, you're really going to go, oh yeah, I actually get why they're saying that. And I think that Stan would be a good one for this one. Stan, the goal is not to close. Am I correct in that? And I have a feeling I know how you're gonna answer that.
Yes, especially at the beginning when you're trying to start a relationship. Your goal is to open the door by providing value and invite a conversation. And we've all been, as Bryn mentioned, in a situation where they're trying to push to a sales conversation too soon, and it automatically drops you into a bucket with all the other pushy salespeople that folks have come across, and those who are trying to get a meeting without having established any value or credibility first. So, as counterintuitive as it sounds, the goal is to to start a conversation, to learn enough about them so that you can provide value in a way that helps them.
So my new saying is you have to open the door before you close it.
Whoa.
Yep.
It's a good one,
Yep.
right?
It's a good one.
Yeah. So all of these things come from coaching and training. I'm like, oh, I got to remember that one. So, this is opening the door. This is inviting people in to have a conversation, right? Like that's what this is about. And when we are attached to the sale, they feel it, they smell it, they taste it. It's so obvious. But when we are there to bring value and we consistently bring value, and by the way, every discovery call that we have with our prospects brings them value, even if they don't buy from us, because we are detached from making the sale and we are attached to giving them the most value possible and earning their business. So that shows up hopefully in everything that we do, right?
Yeah.
We provide excessive, we hope, amounts of value. So when you're ready for more, you're happy to have a conversation. That's what we want you guys to truly think about. Stop looking at LinkedIn as the lead database and look at it as the conversation starter. This is our networking meeting 24/7. And when we show up here the right way, people are going to want to come into our open door.
Yeah. And then there's one more quick thing that I want to add. This type of mentality can also qualify people out if they're not the right fit. If you are consistently trying to close someone, yet you're not having a conversation, you really don't know what's going on with them, they may buy from you, and you may not be the right fit for them, and that just produces all kinds of negative effects with that. When you're having conversations with them, you're going to get a feeling, and they're going to get a feeling as well after a while, whether or not there's even a fit there. And I think that that's really important as well.
So, Stan, anything you want to add before Bob closes us out, takes us in for a landing?
No, as always, this has been fabulous. So nothing to add at this point.
Yeah, that sounds good. So, when it comes to all of this stuff, we need to focus on relevance, not volume. Definitely not volume. Detach from the deal, attach the value that you bring to your prospects, and earn the right to the conversation. We've actually just kind of adjusted our phrasing a little bit on that this year, but I think it's really important. You really have to earn the right to the conversation. And how you do that? You talk about the stuff that your prospects want to know about and need to know about, not what you're trying to push on them. Yay! So with that, we really appreciate you for joining us for this episode of Making Sales Social Live. We do these sessions weekly, so, join us. If you're listening to this as a recording on our podcast, why don't you subscribe if you haven't done so already? We would love to see it. Also, drop us a like and a comment as well. We definitely appreciate those. Besides these LinkedIn Lives, we also interview leaders and experts in sales, marketing, business, and many more areas. So catch those episodes as well on our podcast. Speaking of, socialsaleslink.com/podcast is where you're going to want to go for more information about everything that we do in the world of podcasting. So when you are out and about, be sure that you're making your sales
social.